And backed by popular demand, we're at CVB, Coachella Valley Brewing in Thousand Palms, California. And we're here with Justin, again.
That's me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And Chris Anderson. Cheers, Master Brewer. And of course, I'm Trooper from Beer Culture Webshow.
Is that what
And
we're
we're here.
calling this?
Huh?
Is that what we're calling this now?
That is so far. I mean, that's all they're calling us to our face. I don't really say anything about it. I've never heard anything else yet. So,
Yeah.
and we're here to talk on a few topics, but I think we're going to start off today talking about what's new and what's up and coming on tap here at CVB, so you guys can get out here and try some of the new stuff. Chris, you asked a minute ago about the music night the other night. I think that was a tremendous success for you guys. When me and the wife first got here, we were standing like right here to get a pint, and it took me a good 15 minutes to get a pint. And it's the first time I ever stood in line for beer that I wasn't mad about it. I was like, so happy. I was like, I'm so happy for him. He's got such a crazy crowd right now. And I got some good photos of Gary working.
Nice.
Like, he was really working. Like he was pouring beer.
Definitely got to see that.
Washing glasses.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, no, it was a good night, man.
You jumped in a couple times washing glasses, right?
Yeah, helping out wherever I
You
could.
were jumping in a couple times. What is new on tap? I know right now I have the Monumentus on Brett, which is a pretty constant, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a little offshoot of our flagship IPA. Whenever we have an open tank, obviously we don't run Brett through our normal system, but we definitely do it on our little pilot system, and we've done Monument on Brett. We've done some offshoots of some of our saisons on Brett.
You're just taking enough of the wort over.
Yeah, about a barrel and a half, so about equals out to about three 15-gallon kegs.
Well, the next time you do it, I mean, if you don't have room for all 3 kegs, I would take care of one.
I'd like to take one of these home myself.
I would take care of it for you.
This is actually my favorite IPA of ours.
Babysit
Really?
it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just like the dryness of it.
Me
and
too.
It's so much different than the regular Monument. So.
We're talking fermenting, and you talked about the bubbles. Like it just
Sure.
has a tighter, crisper
for sure.
dryness
Absolutely.
that is just phenomenal, and it has that fruity little funk to it.
Yep.
This
is Brettois, so it's not as like funky as Brux is. So it's a little more fruity than our Cali Ale house yeast. So it produces a drier, cleaner, fruitier beer. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome. And you're drinking one of the newest things on tap, right?
I'm drinking the Whopper with coffee.
Yep.
Tell us why.
This is fucking amazing.
Explain that beer a little bit.
So we linked up with a company called Beam Brothers down in the West Valley over in Palm Springs, and they made us up espresso extract, which is basically like espresso on steroids. If you think espresso is strong, this stuff is pretty darn strong. So they did up about a quart of it, and we put that in just a small batch. So it's pretty intense coffee. That it doesn't come through as much on the nose as I would have liked. It's there, but it's
there.
It's kind of subdued behind the coffee. I mean the cocoa and the malted milk powder and the lactose are kind of forefront. So so it's kind of like
it's a Whopper milk stout.
Yeah, it's like a malted milk ball beer.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the good thing is the beer is so excellent on its own. The coffee doesn't just overpower.
Doesn't overpower it. Yeah,
it
actually works.
There enough to let you know that it's there.
I like the coffee version better than the regular version.
I think I do too.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice.
I have to try it.
I was a little hungover this morning, and I needed a little coffee, and I had one of those for breakfast. And it was pretty darn good.
The brewer's life. You're living a tough life, Chris.
Well, I didn't even know they tapped it. I was kind of pissed because I went in the cooler and I was like, Where'd my coffee Whopper go? And Devin's like, oh yeah, they put it on Saturday because they blew through the other one. So it's pretty cool, Nice. But yeah, we got that. We also have our agave triple, which is the Majul, but just without the barrel aging. So it's a pretty nice Belgian strong ale with 100% Blue Weber agave and some Belgian golden candy sugar. Pretty dry, crisp, golden Belgian, which is a really, really nice beer. That's on tap right now. Then for the reservists, I'll talk about that in a little bit, but we do have the Coriolis on. And then this week, actually, we're tapping, I think, 3 or 4 different beers are going on this week. We'll have Josh Kunkel from the Homebrew Club. His porter will be going on.
Going up.
Nice.
I think it's this Friday. Is our
We
big.
had a pretty solid conversation with him on Saturday.
He's a great brewer, man.
Yeah.
We had an awesome brew day with him. He came in here, and he's definitely one of those brewers that's not afraid to work, and he's very, very passionate about his recipe formulation. So we pretty much dialed it in, pretty much to what he made. We used different honey and a little different water profile, but other than that, it was the same beer.
Awesome.
And the the quality of the beer that turned out of there is just absolutely amazing. And we're going to do a bunch of different versions of it. We're going to do obviously a base version. We kind of copycatted a really cool thing we saw down at a brewery down in San Diego that is actually like a big yeast laboratory, White Labs, and they do this thing where they do one beer and then they pitch a bunch of different yeasts. And we thought like let's do the same thing but do a bunch of different ingredients. So we're going to do the same porter, but we're going to do one with vanilla beans, one with cocoa nibs, one with chipotle, one with cayenne.
Yeah, one with a little powdered chocolate. You could even graduate like that, and then the chocolate, and then the chocolate vanilla, then the chocolate vanilla pepper.
So it'll be cool. And then you can blend too, if you wanted to put, half and halves or whatever.
Exciting.
So
we'll have that. A tough life, Chris.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Awesome. and he said that the base porter already has a pretty good chocolate flavor. The base was like about 4 or 5% chocolate malt. So
he said something about it. It came off like almost a hot cocoa.
Yeah,
flavor.
it's very. The wort was like almost like drinking hot cocoa, like a Mexican chocolate, like very much so. Yeah,
so you could just makes you want to put a little chili.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it'll be great with the chipotle.
I think the cayenne
will pop too.
Yeah.
And I think he's talking about he wanted to do something with some Calvados, so we're maybe doing a little, maybe huddle a 5-gallon keg away and throw it on some Calvados barrels or oak. Monk Mirage, which we haven't had on in I think 3 months. It's our single, Abbey single. It's the lightest of all the Belgians we make here. That'll be coming back on, and the beer that I'm just super stoked on, and it exceeded my expectations is the Harvester Imperial. We haven't had that on since pretty much the opening week, and we blew through that like super fast.
Harvester IPA.
It's a 9%er, 3 different grapefruits backed up with just tons of American citrus hop character. We use Citra and Columbus and Amarillo, and it's just beast, man. And it turned out like it exceeded my expectations for sure. It was just a great beer. We tweaked it a little bit. The original batch that we did was kind of an amber reddish kind of IPA, and I wasn't entirely happy with it, but I was so happy with Coriolis. So we basically just took the Coriolis base and then switched it over to this hop profile using the same amount of fruit and everything. So it was it's actually a whole different beer than the original one that came out. But we're pretty stoked on it.
No, it was. I remember the hype whenever you guys first put it on. I mean, everybody was trying to get down here to try it. And you guys ended up putting it on tap at a bar somewhere.
Yeah, we had it around town, quite a few places. Ace had a keg on. The Purple Room had a keg on, and the Fix, and I think Schmitty's might even got a keg. So yeah, we dosed it around a little bit just to get the beak wet, and then we had it actually down in one of our first out of town taps. Put it on at Killarney's. Which is down in Riverside, and they did a big IPA night, and we won People's Choice with it.
Wow.
And that was with they were pouring Pliny that same night, and they were pouring Rampage, Pliny, Kern River IPA, and a couple others. So to win People's Choice, either the people didn't know beer, or it was a damn good batch of beer, one of the two. So.
Well, no, it was an amazing IPA.
Pretty stoked on it. Yeah,
it is.
We actually shipped the hops on a seat on a plane, which a lot of people don't know. It actually our friends that own BC Hop Farm, one of the largest hop growers in the Willamette Valley. They live out here seasonally, and when we were just opening our doors. The Davidson brothers came in here and they're talking to me and they're like, "Oh, we're hop growers from Oregon. Let me know if we can do anything." And so as soon as the first harvest came out, 2013, I said, "I want wet hops." They're like, "Well, we've never done that before." They deal strictly with Hop Union. They grow, send it to Hop Union, and Hop Union makes the pellets and gets dosed off to all the different breweries. So I was just like, "Hey, I just got to get them within 24 hours." So he's looking through all the logistics of trying to, freight it to me, and it just wasn't happening. He's like, "Hey, I'm just going to buy a ticket." And the coolest thing was they just wanted to see their wet hops in a beer, and they paid for the plane ticket, which the 56-pound box of hops sat on the.
And who sat with it? Nobody.
Nobody.
They just set it on a plane and said somebody's coming to pick this guy up.
They set it on there and had
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So yeah, it showed up here and. We opened the box and it was like a bunch of little nerds like just sitting there sniffing on this box,
Yeah,
at the time
that's where I'd have been, right there.
We had Scotty, the brewer from Rock's Brewing Company, who we did that collaboration with. He was just sitting there just like awestruck because, fresh Centennials literally like cut in 24 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
12 hours before it was just absurd.
The hop aroma had to be
It was crazy. Well, when they're wet too, they get a lot more of like kind of melony and really like honeydew kind of notes off of it, rather than being like really pronounced, caddy or citrusy. So it was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
All right.
But yeah, one of the last kegs, man, for sure. So come down and get it.
And we're back to talk about Fault Line Society. Is that right?
Yep, you're right.
So explain to us what a reserve society means and what people are going to get for that. I know we already signed up, right? We're both signed up for that. I believe it's my first one, but I think you're brewery reserve societist and now here, right?
No, here, yeah.
Very good. And just so everybody knows, these guys are drinking
Coriolis Effect, yep.
Coriolis Effect, which is society only.
Yep, reserve only. Pretty much the way the program works is whenever you come in here, there'll be a tap dedicated just to the reservists that are part of the Fault Line Society, so they can have growler fills off of that tap. They can have pints or tasters of that product, and nobody else can. So it's kind of a cool thing, It's a little bit of a ha-ha. Look what I can have, you can't, kind of thing. It's kind of cool, and it's also, most of the time it's going to be, something that we're truly proud of, something that's really special. But in addition to that, all of our really, really special bottle releases that are barrel-aged beers and sours and stuff will all be pushed through that program.
And that's part of what you see behind us right now.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, this is one of the first ones we laid down. Majul.
If one of these is missing when we leave, it's not in my truck.
I wouldn't suggest trying to work that one down.
I'm trying to kill myself just to get
it's kind of fun just getting it up there, but
yeah. All right, continue.
So the first three bottle releases are allocated, and so basically you pay to be part of this program. You get those bottles as part of it, a nice kind of commemorative glass, exclusivity in terms of bottle releases that are non-reserve bottles, non-Fault Line beers throughout the year. For example, our IPA, whenever we brew it, it sells out so fast that certain people that really love IPAs, if they don't come in here for 3 or 4 days, might miss out on it. This is an opportunity.
Bottled.
Yeah, when it's bottled. We always have it, obviously, for growler fills. But some people like to have their nice bomber in the fridge.
Yeah, I totally want it in my fridge for trades and
sure.
people come over and just to be pushing the envelope. Yeah. Absolutely.
So this will allow those people to pre-allocate that and just about every other offering. And then, in addition to that, there'll be 12 releases that are part of the Fault Line, and then about another dozen non-Fault Line beers that are going to be special beers that will have a certain allocation for each member.
Sweet.
There's a 15% off whenever you walk through the door here after you become a Fault Liner, so 15% off no matter what you buy. They waive the fees that are involved with booking this place. We have a $1,000 minimum for booking this for, say, like a bachelor party or Christmas party or corporate party. If you're a Fault Liner, we waive that and you can basically book a party and not have that as an issue. We also have a points accrual program, which basically works dollar for dollar. Every dollar you spend, you build up a certain amount of points, and those points can be redeemed for a dollar value in terms of a gift card. So yeah, it's a cool thing. It's our first year, so we're just kind of excited to get some of our bottles out there. They're all going to be very, very small runs. So as you know, as a trader like myself and like you are, that makes these bottles extremely valuable. One of the very first bottle runs that we did today is the Grand Conquistador, and it's a 12% Belgian quad that we modeled after the Westie 12. And it's a 12% beer. It's a beast. It's very plummy, figgy, raisiny, just big beast of a beer.
We were lucky enough to get here.
Yeah, you got a little taste of it.
We got a little taste of it.
Little flat taste of it. It was sitting around after.
It was so good. So good.
And I've never had Westie 12 before, but never tasted anything like that, man. I mean, that's one of the most sought after beers in the world. Yeah. I mean, if you're close to that, I think you really. I
don't know if we're close to it. It was definitely modeled after that, so I was pretty happy with it.
Dark fruit notes. It had some.
We used the true Belgian dark candy sugar, all the Belgian malts all the way through. Laid it down in a very small
when you're
bourbon
drinking
barrel.
in the first shoot, and I could see in the glass like a little trub in the bottom of the glass. I'm like, that's a brewer, man. Even his glass has got a trub in it.
Exactly.
It's just serious.
And I'm not really a huge fan of Belgians, but it's mostly the ones that have the really overpowering clove and banana flavor. And that one does not have that at all.
No. It's more bubble gum and dark ripened fruit and stuff like that.
I mean, that's just so good.
So yeah, we bottled that today, and the run is going to be less than 200 bottles.
Wow.
Each bottle will be signed and numbered, so each one of the reservists will get a bottle of that. In addition to that, they'll get the Majul, which is behind us, and the wonderful Old Fitzgerald and Heaven's Hill barrels.
Nice.
And then the last one, which is probably the beer that I think I'm most proud of here, is our Black Widow. It's the most intensely complex beer that we brew here, just because it's absolutely massive. It's a 16%er.
Wow.
Holy shit.
So it packs a ball up. We actually brew a beer through the system, a regular 4 and extra stout, and then we don't hydrate with any water. We use that 4 and extra stout to make Black Widow. So that's how we hydrate the mash filter, the mash that goes through the mash filter. So it really concentrates the sugars and intensifies it quite a bit.
I would love to see that brewing process
Yeah.
right there.
It's a long day, because essentially it's 2 brews to make 1 brew.
I'm a worker, man. I would love to come get wet
it's a
and watch
beast.
it.
And that's already made in the barrels, right?
That one hasn't been made yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
You
That
should
one
tell us
we'll
what
make in
day.
about it'll be about 2 months from now. We'll make
Nice.
that, right. We kind of make that at the depths of summer, and then we lay it down all summer,
Yeah.
and then release it in the winter.
We
So
definitely
for,
want to go.
for all you
shoot
beer heads
that.
out there, you locals that have tried CVB and are wanting to get part of something a little bit bigger, you want to learn about craft, join the society, join Fall Society, ask us about it on Facebook. We'll give you more information. You can find Chris on our Facebook. It's a great way to just grow your beer education, grow your beer palate, be part of something that's super unique, it's super hard to find, and local. And if you don't know what that trading power is, then you can just give your bottle to me, and I'll go get like super strength with that. And I can't even trade those though. Those are not trade to me. Those to me are like cellar and drink.
I've had a couple
Yeah.
200 bottle runs, and they
my
they won't
trade
get
power-
traded no matter what they're
my
worth.
trade
Yeah.
power is Pliny. I could just go buy 2 bottles of Pliny, and I could get anybody to send me anything as I have Pliny. All
One of the
East
best
Coasters
beers I
can
ever
send
had
me
in my
anything.
life was a really, really small run from a brewery called Freetail Brewing, and I had people wanting to trade me on arm and leg for it, and I was like, nope, I'm not getting rid of it.
Yeah,
and
I'm
then when I
trading
popped it and I drank it, I was so thankful that I never traded it away.
That's right. Yeah, there's no way I would trade the stuff I get from here. This stuff's mine for drinking. Again, there's too many other, I can get to, the Speedway Stout,
Sure.
the brewery stuff. There's too many other people that I can just go get their stuff, and I can trade East Coast, all the United States, no problem. What comes out of my town, that's my beer.
Sure.
That's my bragging rights, That's my ability to sit somebody down at a dinner and be like, look what I brought. Like, there's no way you have this bottle.
Yeah.
Something special.
Now, what I'm drinking right now is Desert Swarm. And what a lot of people don't know is this beer is very farm to table.
Farm to
And-
glass.
Farm to glass, excuse me. And the base fruit in this beer is a kumquat. And I had the awesome opportunity to
Both
go
you guys,
out.
huh?
We.
We, all of us together. Yeah, I had the awesome
Cheers.
opportunity to
Thanks for
go
your
out
help.
into Mecca and out in the orchards off 86, right? And took us about 8 of us about 3 hours, I think 3.5 hours.
Maybe about
We picked
3.
like 600 pounds of kumquats.
Yep. Yeah.
And look for the credits. You'll see some pictures of that in credits. Some awesome pictures of us picking. And it was the first day. I had all this crazy going on in my corporate life. So right. So other than this weekend, that was the first day I had taken off in about 15 or 16 days. It was so therapeutic, man.
Yeah.
I was so zenned out afterwards, right? What a great experience.
It really was a good time being out there.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I had a great.
It makes
great
you
time
appreciate, what goes into your agriculture.
Absolutely. Yeah.
like,
And you had me
you
in
take it
here,
for granted when you're eating an orange.
Everybody that came in when I was here, right?
Oh yeah, you were
I was
selling
like,
it.
oh, you're drinking Desert Swarm? Check this out. Bite into this and drink the beer. Like, this pairs so well. They were like, oh my God, you can totally taste it on the back. I'm like, absolutely. It was such a great experience. And then, I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate you having us out, and I appreciate the opportunity to go
Pleasure.
out there and
Thanks for your
just
help.
get filthy, climbing up into trees and picking kumquats.
Oh, yeah.
So
And that batch is the batch using what we picked that day?
This is not the batch that we picked is actually in fermentation right now.
fermentation.
And it was weird. It was just, I don't know if it was the concussion from the music the other night, but it was the first time we ever had a brew ferment out of our tank. So it was a happy batch of
Wow.
It just
Swarm.
went for it.
Yeah, it actually.
Yeah.
I got a call from Dave on Saturday, and he was freaking out because we have a big blow off bucket, and it, just frothing out, yeast spitting everywhere, and
You're like,
it was just uber happy. So
Yeah, it's
either
just happy.
maybe they're just fresh and really happy.
They were very fresh. They were super citrusy,
Yeah.
nice bitter notes to them. Not too tart.
Yeah, these are the best. This is the best time of the year to pick. So it
Yeah.
was they have picked about a month before we did, so that's like the prime time for
and
kumquat.
that's only going to happen so many more times. I mean, you're going to get to a level of production where you don't have the time. You're just going to pay somebody to bring you the kumquat.
I mean, they've already given us that opportunity, but I'm the kind of brewer that likes to be involved in that aspect of it. I mean, it's going to be a little sad to me, like when we get to that point where it's like so big that I can't keep up. So
I was so happy to have been part of that. Why that hands-on is still going on right there.
Sure.
And what are some of the other elements in here? Because I know it's the killer bee guy, right?
Yeah, the Africanized killer bee.
We had at our house, like he took like a beehive out of my wall in my backyard, and we had that honey in a container in our kitchen, and we used that honey for about 6 months.
It's amazing. It was
honey. Really good. Yeah.
Definitely the best honey I've ever had in my life. It's very rich, earthy, and it's just super complex. A lot of people don't know the difference between a killer bee and a honeybee, other than they're very dangerous and they can. But it's more of the aggression thing being kind of misnomered. In fact, it's a pollination thing. They're aggressive pollinators, and they're all about producing the royal jelly for the queen. So they have to go out and pollinate, tons of different flowers. Right. Well, a regular honeybee is a pollinator that's very particular about what time they go out during the day, and when it gets cold, they don't want to go out and pollinate. Well, honeybees are very particular about that, whereas killer bees don't care about what time of the day it is. They don't care if it's dark. They don't care if it's cold. They're just going to go after it, and they'll go after everything. So, like, this stuff being from the East Valley, obviously, is going to have a big level of complexity from citrus fruit, but also from alfalfa and clover, and so it's got a very, very deep level of complexity, very rich. We almost get notes of cinnamon, anise off of it, which is like star anise and cinnamon, so it's really cool.
I thought about when we were out in the kumquat orchard, was the orchard on the other side of the road. It was a lemon grove, and it was in blossom, and all that was just
that smell.
That smell, right?
Awesome.
Like, man, if you could
just as soon as we got out of the car, I was just like,
especially with the way the wind was blowing everything right over to where we were.
How do you get that into a beer?
You could probably, if you had somebody to pick the blossoms. I knew a guy that did an orange blossom wheat beer, and he just used the blossoms. Imagine that for a 17-barrel batch. How much that would take? I mean, it'd be a lot of picking.
Man, you'd be out there for 8 hours.
And then the last thing is the coriander is all local too. Coriander is actually the seed from the cilantro
There's
plant.
Coriander in here.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, local coriander grown in Coachella as well. From a farm that does all kinds of herbs out here.
Anybody that drinks with me or rolls with me knows I don't like lagers. I don't like any kind of like coriander in a beer. But you brew beers like that. Cross the path, they cross over.
We like to layer complexity. It's one thing to have, excuse my French, but a muddle fuck beer. We don't really want to have that. We really like for the flavors to marry and one to kind of pave way to the other.
Absolutely.
And that's probably from my culinary background. Being a foodie and understanding flavors. I think that pays dividends when you're trying to layer these different flavors and make them work in unison. So
it definitely shows in the beers.
Yeah, the Bullstead Lager, phenomenal. First one I had here today, the Desert Swarm, absolutely refreshing summer beer. I could see myself drinking this one the rest.
It's crazy that we refer to that beer as refreshing, and it's 8%.
It is
7.8%. Oh, it's refreshing.
We were talking about this a couple of episodes ago.
I think back a ton of beers because I'm going to next week. I'll be at the Craft Brewers Conference in Denver. So I'm hitting Fort Collins, hitting Denver.
Do you want my money now?
Boulder, the whole deal.
That's what I got to do to get a couple of bottles. We need some bottles for the show, Chris.
We've been working really good with New Belgium. They've been
nice.
Like probably one of our like awesome supporters since we've been
I heard
open.
they helped you out a couple
They've
times.
helped us out tremendously. Probably cool. $30,000-$40,000 worth of hops since we've been open. So.
And somebody else that just stepped it up was Hanger 24, in my opinion. In all due respect for them, great marketing, great labeling. For the local breweries, I think they're the only other local brewery besides yourself that's really nailed it with labeling. I think Rituals is pretty cool. I like their labeling.
Solid.
I like their labeling. It's very solid. But Hanger 24, when you walk into a shelf, it just pops off a shelf. But their beer style,
their branding is incredible.
Yeah, I've never wrapped my brain around or my palate around the beers they brew. But that Betty IPA, boy, they got me on the hook. They got me on the fish hook looking for that now. Ever since you pulled it out in the middle of the... Just so you guys know, it's like 10:30 in the afternoon. This guy's busting out a growler of Betty that was 5 or 6 days old already in the growler. Yeah. And it was
super
stupid.
fresh.
Yeah. Easily the best beer I've had from here.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready. I'm on the search for that. I'm on the hunt for it.
A lot of their specialty beers that they do, the barrel roll and all that stuff, are really, really solid. I've found, I love the Hammerhead. I think it's one of the best barley wines that's made in the state. You know, and
Nice.
and I also really love the double IPA, but you know. That's a creeper beer, man. You start drinking that stuff, it's like 9%. And it drinks like a regular IPA.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Kevin does a great job, man. That guy has really put this part of Southern California on the map.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Yeah, he
Definitely.
is definitely
Gotta give
made
him
a,
some
he's made a
props.
solid footprint.
he's the president of our guild that we just joined.
Yeah.
Gary Grotsky got us hooked up in the local Brewers Guild, and Kevin heads that up. So we're
And we could
glad
do
to
that
be part
into
of
an
him.
episode.
Yeah.
Sure could.
Just get leaders from the guild sitting around drinking beer, talking
Sure.
to the camera. That would be a phenomenal episode.
Well, we've been talking about going down to Hangar 24 and
Yeah,
trying to sit
me
down
too.
with them.
We're gonna do a collab at some point with him too. We talked to Ben the other day about it.
I'm going on for that Betty, man. I don't care how far I
I'm
drive.
pretty sure that Total will get it very soon.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
So they
Yeah.
just bottled it about a week ago. So I don't
Yeah.
know what the distribution is.
We should be seeing it like this week.
Yeah,
or
I
next
want to
week.
should
get
be
it while
seeing
it's
it.
just a baby IPA, and I just want to drink it
Super,
all day
super
long.
fresh.
I just want to drink it all day long. You keep wrapping my brain around the flavors in there, like.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool meeting with them because they showed us a lot of things. You know, we actually hung that whole day during the release, and that beer is a quick turn for an IPA. Like like less than like literally 2 weeks, and that beer is in the bottle.
Wow.
And Monumentus is a 21-day turn, so a full more week. So we figured out a couple things that they're doing and integrated that into our program here, which kind of helped us out a little bit because with Young's coming on, we can't afford a 21-day turn. You know, that's essentially a week's worth of tank being tied up. So, you know, we started integrating some of their ideologies and philosophies on how they hop the beer, you know, post fermentation, and it's been really cool that
Nice.
that we could do that and cut some
And
time.
I love that. You know, I think it was litigation.
Collaboration, not litigation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
collaboration, not litigation. I always think about that when you see the craft beer industry is like that. I mean, there's
It
so
wasn't
much.
like that long ago,
No,
though, man.
no,
Like
there's so much
back
more
in the
collaboration
late
than-
'90s, like you couldn't even talk to another brewer about like formulation or recipe development or
I worked
even
in the-
ingredients. And
I worked in
sure
the
as hell
tattoo
wouldn't have got
industry.
like hops from somebody else.
Exactly.
And I worked in the tattoo industry, like in the 80s,
Sure.
90s, early 2000s. I worked in the tattoo industry, and it was in late 90s, early 2000s. That's how it was. It was very cutthroat.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, how to use that 5-mag? Oh, well, do this, and they'd laugh. Oh, it's going to ruin somebody's skin.
Sure.
I thought it was funny, and then. Jump forward 5 years later, there was no flash on the wall. Everybody was drawing.
Everybody's
Everybody was
sharing, yeah.
painting together. They would let's hang out and paint pictures.
That's the
together
future of
and
any
talk.
industry, man.
I
Yeah.
love that, yeah. And I love to see that level of collaboration that's going on right now.
Sure. It's
And,
cool.
and just to see the numbers keep coming. I saw the 2013 numbers the other day, and I was posting that stuff. 11% growth in the craft beer industry.
huge, man.
Still another 2 or 3% shrinkage in the beer industry in its entirety, which means the big guys are slipping even more.
Yep.
And they're just
incredible.
clawing away, trying to keep that hold. And it's over. They just need to relax and let go and let it be what it's going to be.
Yeah, they need to quit trying to be a part of it too.
Imposter craft.
Because
Yeah,
they're
I got a big problem with
Awesome.
that.
Me
every
too,
single
me
every
too,
single beer they've
absolutely.
put out to try to be part of the craft beer scene has just been
Garbage.
just
Well,
garbage.
you could take almost
Shit.
anybody
And
that's
it
new.
and it fools people into believing like my big problem is as much as Shock Top and Blue Moon
Yeah.
maybe have a place in the market, it leads people to believe that that's how wit beer should taste,
Yeah.
And
and it's not. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's a wheat lager. It's crap.
it's sad, man. I mean,
So sad.
because what it does is it waters people's palates down to where when they come in and try something like Desert Swarm, which is like a wit on steroids, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is not what I.
Yeah.
And then we got to steer people towards saying something like, oh, you like Blue Moon or Shock Top, so try this, which is
Yeah.
like comparing an orange to a,
Brother, I get it all
watermelon.
the time. People will text me like, "Oh, how's the show going? Great. Hey, I'm at this bar. I'm trying this beer. What should I like?" Okay, well, what do you normally drink? Blue Moon. All right, what do they got?
Water.
And I have to think
Yeah,
like,
order a water.
Yeah. Shoot yourself now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit that out.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all good.
Let's get. You mentioned Young's.
Sure.
So we're gonna transition to that.